Hey, what's up, guys? This is Vishu from Geekstarts. So we have already attached our database volume. So let's go forward and mount it. There's a difference between attaching your volume and mounting it. Attaching is like just putting the device, like putting the volume in the device, but you need to tell the kernel that we are going to use this device. So let's mount it. So you open your putty, you paste your public DNS. So once you are in, since we are going to change the file systems, we are going to go into the root user. And so first I'm going to show you the current file systems that are in the machine. The only one that we know is slash, which is on slash dev xvda1, which is on slash, which is the root partition. And if I do a fdisk -l, it would show that there's xvda, which is 8 gigs, which is our root partition, and there's xvdf, which was actually sdf, but the Linux kernel changed it to xvdf, and it is a 1 gig database volume. So what we need to do first is copy this, and let me clear the screen. So to mount a volume in your instance, you need to make sure that Linux can read it. And to do that, we need to first change its file system. And we do that using mkfs, which stands for make file system. -t stands for type. The type that Linux uses is ext4, and then we are going to tell which files, like which volume we have to change to ext4. So once I do this, you will see creating file system with these blocks and nodes, inodes, file system uuid. So now your slash dev xvdf is in ext4 format, so the Linux kernel can read this. So once you're done with this, I'll show you a file from where the Linux kernel gets all the information that about the devices that are attached to your system and are mounted. So this is the volume, this is the location at which it is mounted, this is the file system, and these are the properties. So we have to add this new volume in the same format, and you can do that using vim/etcfstab. Or if you, so the problem here is if you like did something else that is quite important, like your system won't boot up because it can't read the fstab file. So what people usually do is, instead of going in and changing the file, we use a command called echo, which tells what we have to do. So we have to use the same format for this volume. So we are going to do echo the name of the volume, the location. I'm going to mount it on slash data, the file system, which is ext4, the properties, which is no a time 0 and 0. No a time as in there's a property of Linux which writes into the file system every time someone reads it, and we don't want that because there would be too many read or write operations every time some user just reads the file. So no a time tells the Linux kernel that there's no, that like you don't have to write into the file system whenever someone reads it. This would just increase your performance. So now what we have, what we have to write. So what we, this double arrows says that we are going to append this. So append this whole line into slash etc fstab. So once I do this and do a cat etc fstab, you can see that slash dev xvdf has been mounted at slash data with a file system of ext4, no a time 00. So our work is not done here. We just have modified the fstab entry, so the system knows that the next time it reboots, it can read this volume. But the problem here is we don't have slash data. So I'm going to create that directory. So slash data and mount slash data. So in this way, we have created a directory, and we have also told the file system to mount slash data. So the next time the system reboots, it would like find slash data and it will mount the file system, the file that we attached into slash data. If I do a ls slash, you can see data is over here. If I do a df, you can see xvdf is mounted on slash data. So I'm just going to reboot and pause the video, and once we come back we'll see if the file system changes anything, like if we can still access that. So it's been a minute now. Let us try again to log in our machine and check that it can actually mount it. So once you are in, let me make sure that it rebooted. So uptime is 0 minutes, so it just rebooted. So if I do a df now, you can see xvdf is mounted on slash data. If I do a cat slash etc fstab, you can see that xvdf is still there. So now our Linux kernel can also read this file system that we just attached, and now we can go ahead and configure the server.